In the farthest reaches of our planet, where the horizon stretches endlessly over a frozen white expanse, lives a bird unlike any other. The snowy owl, cloaked in feathers as white as the Arctic snow, is a living emblem of the North, a creature woven from wind, ice, and the rhythm of survival. For centuries, these owls have thrived amid the silence and starkness of the Arctic tundra, ruled not by human hand but by nature's own quiet clock. Yet today, this world is shifting. And the snowy owl, once a symbol of Arctic constancy, now carries a quiet warning, a whisper of change, a message borne on wings of snow. The life of the snowy owl. Every winter, as darkness deepens and temperatures plunge, the snowy owl begins its quiet watch. Unlike its forest-dwelling cousins, this owl is diurnal, often seen soaring through daylight skies or perched atop wind-swept ridges, eyes alert and unblinking. The male, ghostly white with sparse dark speckles, glows almost ethereally against the snow. The female, larger and more heavily marked, is the sentinel of the nest, the shield of the next generation. Their lives are tied to the lemmings, small, elusive rodents that live beneath the snow. In years when lemming populations explode, snowy owls prosper. Breeding begins in earnest, nests fill with eggs, and the tundra resonates with the chirps and squeaks of hungry owlets. In lean years, however, the owls do not breed. The connection is intimate and unyielding. No food, no young. This is the way of the Arctic, where abundance and scarcity dance their timeless dance. A changing world. But something is disrupting this delicate balance. The Arctic is warming, not gradually, but rapidly, alarmingly. Temperatures are rising at twice the rate of the global average. Ice, once permanent and enduring, melts earlier each year. Permafrost softens. Snowfall patterns shift. And for the snowy owl, whose life is intricately woven into this fabric of ice and time, the consequences are profound. Lemmings, too, rely on the snow, not just for shelter, but for insulation. They survive winter by tunneling beneath thick snowpacks that protect them from freezing air. But as snow becomes thinner and less predictable, the lemmings suffer. Without snow, they freeze. Without lemmings, the snowy owl's world begins to unravel. The journey begins. Our story follows one such snowy owl, a female born in the high Arctic, atop a nest of tundra moss and downy feathers. In her first year, she soared across vast white fields, learned to listen for the faintest rustle beneath the snow, and endured storms that bent the horizon with their fury. Her instincts, ancient and inherited, told her when to stay, when to move, when to rise. But now, her instincts are tested. The snows arrive later. The cold is interrupted by sudden warmth, then freezing rain. The land she knows is not the land it was. The prey is fewer. Hunger drives her southward, farther than she has ever gone. She leaves behind the silent white of the tundra and begins a journey few snowy owls once made. Across frozen lakes, over forests turned golden in autumn, past mountains dusted with snow. She is searching, not just for food, but for a place where the world still follows the rules she understands. New territories, new risks. As she travels, the owl enters a world unfamiliar. Here, humans dominate the landscape. Roads crisscross her path, lights flicker through the night. Fields stretch where once there were forests. She perches atop utility poles, unfamiliar sentinels, scanning fields for movement. But with new lands come new dangers. Cars rush by. Rodents are plentiful, but many are poisoned, a silent killer that does not distinguish. She is not adapted to human presence. She does not fear it. And that makes her vulnerable. Other snowy owls have made this journey too. Some find isolated farmland where food is abundant. Others gather near coastlines, where ducks and seabirds congregate. They adapt. Not fully, not easily, but with the same quiet resilience that has kept them alive for centuries. The breeding dilemma. As the Arctic continues to change, snowy owls face another challenge: breeding grounds that no longer support them. Melting snow means nests are exposed to predators. Rain replaces snow, flooding nests and chilling chicks. The precise timing between snowmelt, lemming peak, and nesting, a finely tuned symphony, falls out of sync. Some owls skip breeding seasons entirely. Others attempt to nest in more southern regions, but with mixed success. The very blueprint of their life cycle is being redrawn, not by evolution, but by urgency. And yet, they try. Our owl, having traveled hundreds of miles, returns north as spring arrives. The ice begins to retreat. The sun no longer sets. She searches, for lemmings, for a mate, for a place where her young might have a chance. Symbol of the Arctic. To many, the snowy owl is more than just a bird. It is a symbol of mystery, solitude, and endurance. Made famous in folklore, poetry, and even pop culture, it carries a presence that feels almost mythical. But beneath the feathers lies a very real animal, facing very real threats. The owl does not speak. It does not protest. It does not plead. But its journey, across lands, through storms, through scarcity and risk, is a message. A message not just from the Arctic, but from the planet itself. Through her flight, we witness not just the beauty of adaptation, but the fragility of ecosystems balanced on a knife's edge. The future unwritten. There is still time. Time for change. Time for reflection. The Arctic is not yet lost, and neither is the snowy owl. But it will take more than admiration to preserve their world. It will take understanding, action, a willingness to listen to what science tells us, and what the wild whispers. Our owl, now older, wiser, continues to fly. Her wings slice through the cold air like memory. She has seen the old world, and she is living in the new. She will fly as long as she can. She will raise her young if the land allows. And with each glide, each silent stare, each night watch, she carries a message we must not ignore. A message on wings. There is a kind of poetry in the snowy owl's story, a tale written in ice and light, silence and sound, endurance and change. It is a fairy tale, yes, but not the kind that ends in happily ever after. It is a tale that asks us to look up, into the sky, into the cold, into the eyes of a bird that sees farther than we do. Let her flight remind us of what is still here, and what we might lose. Let her journey become ours, not in migration, but in awareness. For the snowy owl does not migrate alone. She is part of something greater. A world turning, a planet warming, a story still being written. Closing reflections. And so we end, not with certainty, but with hope. Hope that the Arctic can remain wild. That the snow will return, deep and clean. That the lemmings will tunnel, and the owlets will hatch. That one day, when a snowy owl lands quietly nearby, it will not be fleeing, but simply returning home. In her feathers, in her stare, in her silence, the snowy owl is speaking. Are we listening? Let me know if you'd like a shortened version or want to adapt this into a narrated video format.